Welcome, everybody, to the community couch.
We have finally made it here.
Yes, we have.
It's been a long time. I feel like I've been wanting to do something like this with you for a very long time.
Yeah,
And so for me, it feels like a very long time coming, and we're doing something that we're both passionate about. And
absolutely.
I'm super excited to bring in the community to our couch.
Yeah, definitely. I think that I was thinking about that, and I was like thinking of how many conversations we had about this, and and how about our interests and how they line up, and what we're going to be doing with the community couch. And we're finally here. So for me, it's kind of like an exciting moment for us in our careers, and exciting to really do this work for what we want to do with the community.
Yes, and much needed.
Yeah.
So much needed. I think we talked the other day about clinicians feeling very burned out, not feeling like they are doing this deeper work or knowing what is the work that they're supposed to be doing in our
Absolutely.
current climate that we are in. So I'm glad that we are here.
Yeah. So why don't we just start with introducing ourselves, right, to the community, and yeah. So I'll let you take over it, and then I will jump in. And yes.
Okay. Well, I am Shacoya Graham, and I am a licensed marriage and family therapist and addiction specialist. And I am a mother, and as you can tell, I am a Black woman, female. And what else? I am deeply, deeply, deeply passionate about our community, how I affect our community, how we all and the work that we do with others affects our community. All these things are very important, and so that's what I'm most passionate about. And healing our community. That's one of the biggest things, and I'm hoping that this space will do this.
Absolutely. And I'm Ray Castillo. I'm also a licensed marriage and family therapist. Yeah, I am. Let's see. I'm a Hispanic Latino male. I am a gay male. I am also a father of 3 kids. You forgot to say that.
Yes.
But yeah. Also, like Shacoya said, very passionate about the community, and very passionate about, and we'll get into that systemic thinking in a minute, but very passionate about what we do, and how we systemically think about all of us as a whole rather than just individually, right? So, yeah, and we're excited to be here with you. Thank you for being with us. And yeah, we want to start by letting our viewers know what this space is for and what it's not for. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yes. So this space is for us to actually understand and know about how our community and mental health, how our community and mental health actually like affect one another, and how we are all. This is something that you will hear me say a lot. How no matter what walk you are in, how we are all very much connected.
Absolutely.
Just like us being in this space right now. Of course, I met Ray through school, but our connection, sometimes we were in class together, but not really. Not really, but we still felt connected.
We did. Even if it was just crossing each other, or I remember the days of us in the internship. That's when we really connected mostly, when we were in the internship and you were sitting in that. I remember you sitting in that corner over there, and I was over here. What's up, Shacoya? You had already been there for like a year before me, so a lot that you helped me out through that process. So
yes, so hopefully we can learn. Yeah, we can bring the community in. We definitely want to hear from you guys. I also think that we want to share like our knowledge, what we know, what we've learned in all of our years of just being in this, being ourselves, and also in this field.
Yeah.
And how it affects us. And we just want to have real conversations with you guys and let you guys into our world as well. And seeing that just because we are therapists, we also go through this life just like you do.
Yeah, and that's a great topic there, just how human we are, and not just because we do this type of work means that we got it all together. And I know that our colleagues out there that are going to be seeing this, like, exactly. um, but yeah, so this, in talking about what this space is for, and you already mentioned, this is kind of like an invitation to the community where we're going to be really talking about all of these topics that are related to all of us, right? And how like you said, how it affects one another, how it intersects one another, right? When we're talking about systemic thinking and systemic world. But what is not, right? And when we talk about what is not, it's not a political place. It's not a place that we're going to be pulling people from the, for a specific belief or system, but more of a general consensus, a general thinking, right, that affects us, that may sometimes divide us, but that also can bring us back together. And this is where our hearts are aligned, where knowing that we wanted to do something that brings all of us together.
Now, we will be talking about political things.
We are.
We will be talking about those off-limit subjects.
Yeah.
Also, what this place is not. Like, this is not a place where we're going to therapize.
No.
I think we got to say that.
Yeah. This is not a therapy session, although we sort of want it to be that way, but it's not. Yeah. Definitely.
We're not going to therapize you or therapize a situation, but we are going to talk about it and understand it from a mental health lens.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you mentioned the topics, right? Because some of these topics are going to be uncomfortable, right? And some of these topics need to be spoken about, when we say, we're not necessarily viewing one way or the other, but we are going to address some uncomfortable topics during our conversations. And when we invite guests to be a part of our community couch, we're going to be addressing some of those things that are, are hard conversations, just like we were trying to do in therapy, right?
Yes, just like that should be happening in therapy is difficult conversations. And I would say, because of the nature of our work, this is what we do best. And
Absolutely.
This is one of the reasons why I think that it should be us that have these conversations.
Absolutely. And and we will be exposing some topics, and we will be educating the community. We will be inviting guests. And like Shacoya said, I just want to reiterate, like, make sure that you let us know topics, questions, or things that you want us to bring during our sessions here at the Community Couch. Those are welcome, and we will do our best to cover those, right, as much as we possibly can. So, yeah.
I think we should talk about recently, like when I called you, I called you and I was just shaken, upset.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, I'm back in the fight.
Yes.
Because I feel like I was like, I can't, after things, I was like, I just didn't want to be a part. I was like, I felt too, like I could not do the fight anymore. And you kept saying, you got to stay in the fight. We got to fight this. And I was like, I can't, I feel tired. And what happened was when ICE came to our community, Charlotte, North Carolina, and I saw them take a man down, like chase him and run him down. I feel like kidnapped, but that's what I feel like. And I called you and I was like, I did not think that I was going to be affected this much. Like I had to cancel my whole day because that's how affected I was. My children were affected. And I knew that I could call you and you would understand. And also you'd be ready to fight with me.
Yes. Which is why we're here today.
Yes.
Shacoya, I remember that call. I remember how upset you were. I remember your tears over the phone. I remember, the anger and the, what was happening for you at the moment, right? and we talked about how that moment for you was the definite point of saying this is not okay. This is affecting me. This is affecting my family. This is affecting my community.
Mhm.
And then from that, we just it took that for us to come together and say, no, well, let's fight. Let's fight in the sense of let's bring it to the community. Let's talk about this, the uncomfortable topics, the hard topics, and let's bring how it doesn't matter what your position is
Mhm.
politically, religious wise, or whatever. What you do and what happens to you affects the other person, therefore affects the community,
Mhm.
therefore affects the nation, right? And this is why we're so passionate about the work that we do systemically, because we're not only focused on one particular area, we're focused on how this impacts the whole,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And I remember that, Cole, and it was, yeah, it was really impacting, but it was a decisive moment for you and I to say, we have got to do this.
We got to do something that takes us beyond the couch,
Beyond
beyond
the
the
couch.
therapy room.
Yeah,
We wanted something that
absolutely.
would like really help to bring awareness
Hmm.
and just understanding to
Yeah.
our community, and also have a place where our community can share for themselves as well, because it wasn't just me, of course, that was impacted, but it was like everybody here. I just kept, after my story, I kept hearing stories and stories and stories and more.
Mm.
And recently, right, we just heard a horrendous story about Renee in
Yes,
Minneapolis.
absolutely, right. And again, that goes to show how impacting something that happened to one person just impacts other people as a community, right, and as a nation. So
No matter race,
yeah.
culture, social economic status,
Hmm.
none of these things, we're all affected.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And so
And
there will be a lot to talk about in the upcoming series that we're going to have. Um, yeah, so that's talk about our passion, right? But let's go a little bit beyond, right? Let's talk from the perspective of Shacoya, right? Let's talk from the perspective of who Shacoya is. How did Shacoya became Shacoya,
ooh,
who she is today?
well, hold on now. Took a lot to get me here.
Right? But yeah, one part of our conversations you and I have had comes from a place of being very vulnerable, and understanding who we are, right? So yeah, talk to us about and talk to the viewers about Shakoya, like the idea of who Shakoya is and how Shakoya became a therapist and how Shakoya.
Yeah, so I think it took a long. I, so if I go back to my best friend, she will always say, "This is what we talked about being when we were younger in the sixth grade." I met her in the sixth grade. She's still my very best friend. Talk to her daily. But she talked about, remember, this was our dream and now you're here. And I'm like, oh wow, I didn't even think about that. But I worked first as a medical assistant in fertility for a very, very, very long time. And even in that career
Mm.
of mine, and where I did a lot of what we called weird IVF, like we would see people that were like, when I worked there, I thought, when I went to work there, I thought I was going to be helping a lot of old women have babies, but that was not the case.
Mm.
Again, that was a space where anybody could walk through the door, and were all struggling with something. And what happened was I found myself talking to them on the phone and helping them through that more than actual my job, actual doing the things that I was supposed to be doing, which led me to say, oh, this may be what I need to do.
Yeah.
And so that's when I went into, well, I thought I wanted to be a nurse, but then I said, oh, no, this is what I'm supposed to do. And so I started my journey on to Piper
Yeah.
to become a therapist. And I'm here now. It's a hard journey. And I hope that we can talk about that too, because that also has a huge impact on the way and who I am as a therapist today. Also, hopefully we can get more people to come into the field is always my passion, because I think that people need people.
Yeah.
People need people that will listen. People need people with real life experience, that it's not all about the book. The book is important, but it's not all about that.
Yeah.
And it was a hard, like, school was hard. Right?
Oh God,
Getting
yes.
through school.
It was.
I had young son at home.
Yeah.
My daughter had, I think I had one that was graduating from high school and one that was entering into high school. And I had to make a lot of decisions. Like, big decisions. Like, I knew I wasn't going to be able to be there for my daughter in the way that I wanted to be there for her. However, I always thought, and I will say this to this day, I always thought, what do I want to do? Do I want to teach her that she can put herself first? Or do I want to teach her to wait and let everybody else live their dreams and you wait? And I was like, no, I want to teach her to put herself first.
Yeah.
And so we talked about it, and then that's what started my journey into Pfeiffer.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, you know, it's a great example that you put out there for your kids, but also for any woman that is out there, maybe, you know, have kids and have dreams of going back to school, whatever career choice or profession they want to go into, but that it is possible. And with that, the amount of sacrifice that was put into this. I never forget one of the hardest classes, which was the research class. Oh, right? And in the amount of time and overnights we'd have to do, right, to really do this research that was a huge, I want to say it was like the most frustrating class, but it was like the pinnacle of what we were doing, right? But also, you know, the amount, when I go back to the sacrificing, how much sacrifices we made. Like, you sacrifice your kids, you sacrifice your partner, you know, you sacrifice family members, gatherings, and all that stuff to become who we are. And it's a choice, right, that we make, and then here we are today. I remember, you know, for me, my why and who I am today has to do a lot with my identity. You know, and you and I have had this conversation where, you know, for, you know, growing up as a Latino man, you know, in a Hispanic family, with cultural values that are so deep, and also religious aspect that is very also deep, and then navigating the challenges of my own identity and who I was, right? Wanting to always do the right thing for everyone else but myself, and how difficult that journey was. And I think, you know, even in my studies, going to Pfeiffer and becoming this person honestly impacted my own self to really want to be that person who I wanted to be today. So,
you know, it's so funny to hear you say this, because I promise all of us, whenever we met and saw Ray, we were like, he got his together. Like, he knew.
I guess that was the front, you know. Yes. It's like, yeah.
You always just say, but that goes to show, like, we never know what's underneath. What are people really dealing with?
Yeah.
How they're really feeling? How do they actually move through the world? We don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I learned the other day that you were
number 5 out of 8 kids. Yeah.
I was like, wait, what?
And we've known each other a few years already, 5 years, but right. And these are the untold stories that, you know, sometimes people don't talk about, the struggles, right? You know, but that also adds on to the idea that, you know, and this is for my fellow therapists out there, our colleagues, that, we're not perfect. We
Mhm.
also struggle. And most of us, the beautiful thing about our, career and profession is most of us come to this profession because of our own experiences in life.
Mm. Say that again.
Most of us come to this profession because of our own experiences in life. A journey brought us here.
Mhm.
Not necessarily, yes, to do some internal work and become who we are, but also to be passionate about helping other people and getting them through that journey as well.
And being able to meet them where they are.
Absolutely.
What do they call us? Like I say, the wounded healers.
Yes. Yes. I know a lot of people talk about the heroes, and to the medical field, I give it to you guys. I know that it's important, but also I want to call out the therapists that are also heroes out there. So
And
yeah,
sitting with the heavy stuff.
yeah. So talk about where our stories overlap.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, well, you go. What did you do? You want to tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Okay.
Because I think there is so much more.
God, it's a lot, right? So yeah, it's growing up, in a very religious family, predominantly a Christian evangelical. There was a sense of growing up with these norms and customs and culture and all of these ideologies, which I respect, which I learned to respect, right, and follow, and also learned that through the process, learned that all with much respect that I have for that, and much respect that I have for my family, who are very devout in their belief system, that sometimes we outgrow,
Mm, mm,
right? We
mm.
outgrow those norms and customs, and feeling like the outsider, feeling like the some people will call it the black sheep. I never call myself the black sheep, but feeling what I think I shared with you the other day in the coffee shop when we were talking, feeling queer, right? And I know queer has, for many years was used as a very negative connotation, but thanks to the LGBT community, hello up there, we took that back and we crowned ourselves with queerness and who we are and the beauty of being different and being okay with being different, right? So I think that that is an opportunity that I had to kind of learn and kind of accept and go on with me, with myself. That it was okay for me to be different, and um, give myself the permission to get there. Yeah, and then of course, then there's the other cultural component, in a Latino man, right? That it's also another I'm a minority twice now, right? And feeling less than, feeling outcasted.
Other.
Yeah, that's a great word. Yeah. I think you and I have talked about a lot of that and how we have, come from also broken houses, broken families. And,
Mhm.
I know if my family sees it, they're like, what do you mean? But,
Oh yes.
respectfully, yes. And, that, yeah, all of the endurance, right? All of the things that we had to go through to get here. And I think you and I share some of those similarities.
Yeah. Is that what made you want to be a therapist? Like what was that? Like what how was your journey into becoming a therapist?
Yeah, so right, so it was being number five in my house, right, out of you know 8 kids. I was sort of like in the middle, like in like the ham, right, and the cheese of the sandwich. And I remember growing up, obviously with my elder siblings, but also with my younger, because all of my elder siblings left at one point, and staying with the youngest ones. But so growing like in the middle, and it's so difficult. I want to say to all the middle children out there, I see you. I hear you. It's so difficult to form an identity of your own because you see the oldest kids and the younger, and then here I am in the middle, like, who am I? right? Who do I follow, right? But then having to take that role when all of my older siblings left, taking care of my youngest, because that's a cultural thing for us, right? But also, becoming very involved in church, becoming a youth minister in church, becoming a lead singer in my church, and becoming very involved to the point when then I met my ex-wife, right? Got married, had 3 kids with her, and then 20 years later, right? Then have the struggle of not the struggle of my identity. Then I've always had it, but trying to really be who I am and come out and then be this person that I always was, right? But throughout that journey, I always had this passion, and for some reason, this call of people coming to me and asking me for advice when I'm my youth minister years, counseling youth and counseling parents, and and kind of being on that. So that was already in development in me, but it wasn't, of course, until I went to school and became, a licensed clinician after graduation. But yeah, I felt like I was the counselor for everybody, right? It was already a calling for me, and kind of getting to that journey of like, yeah, this is really what I was born to do. What was that like for you, though?
What do you mean?
Like how to be in your journey to becoming a therapist,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I think, because I think about when you were talking about like coming from a broken home, it made me think of, and also, unfortunately, creating a broken home. Not even trying to probably do all the opposite things of my family, but also finding myself in those same patterns no matter what. And I think when I'm thinking about this, it makes me think of what was like why I chose to be a marriage and family therapist, why I chose to be a systemic therapist, because those patterns, how we learn to be, our attachments, all these things affect also who we are.
Yeah.
And also, I was including our trauma. Let's just throw that word out there.
Yeah.
Because it happens, and how it creates the decisions that we make in our life. The good ones, the maybe not so good ones. Yeah. And so all of those things are always very hard. And I think that was, I will say, still one of the hardest parts of school is understanding my own traumas, how my own family system, how the things that I did as an adult also affected my own children.
Yeah.
And so that part, I think, and I hopes that we can intertwine that into what we're talking about, because it has a huge effect on us.
Oh yeah.
And our decisions are the people who we choose to be with, who we marry, who we marry again the next time.
Right.
All these things, it affects all of it. Why it also, I think, affects why I'm also so passionate about community. I did not grow up in the South. I'm not Southern born. I had a huge culture shock coming down to the South. I grew up in Portland, Oregon, where like it was very, I feel very privileged when I say this, but it was very, you were awesome if you were othered. What do they say, keep Portland weird. The weirder you were, the more different you were, the better you were.
Yeah.
And I think that has had a huge impact on myself, like how I accept people, who I allow in my circle, and how I am. And I feel like it was a privilege to grow up in a place where things like that didn't matter. We wanted the more weirder, the more other, the more queer you were, the more you were like, come in the circle, we accept you.
The more accepted you were, right?
Yeah.
No, I could see that culture shock being, when you move here to the South, and how difficult it is to belong sometimes.
Oh yes, and even to the way that I talk.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not. No, I don't think we have an accent. I don't know. But I know when I came down here, the way that I talked said something to people. Like gave them an opinion of me that I had no idea that was, because it wasn't true to me.
Yeah.
What would people say? I'll just say this. If I was a white woman, I remember Listen, look at me.
Yeah.
Listen, I went on a job interview, and I remember sending my resume. They called me immediately and was like, "Can you come in today for an interview?" And I said, "Absolutely." My name is Shacoya. Let me remind everybody that. I get there to the place. I won't say where, but I get there to the place, and I said, "I'm here for my interview at 2 o'clock." We don't have it. We don't have any open positions. What? We don't have any open positions.
Yeah.
I just spoke to someone on the phone like 30 minutes ago. They asked me to come straight down. See, my name was Shacoya, but the way that I talk and how that actually makes people look at me, which I had no idea about. So I had a lot of culture shock by coming down into the South. And I think that also, when I got to Pfeiffer, actually they made me the diversity liaison.
I remember that. Yes.
I think they just gave it to me, but I do think that that was something that I was passionate about because of my experiences, because of what I have went through. I grew up around all people, like everybody was different, and that was okay. However, I learned quickly in the South that is not how things are.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Talking about systemic thinking, right? And a lot of people, and one of the things that we are doing in this space is really reaching out the community. So I just want to warn everybody, we're gonna throw some lingo and language out there that sometimes is very clinical, and Shacoya has already told me about be careful when you're talking clinical, because we want to make sure that people understand what we're saying. So we're gonna throw some vocabulary out there that is a little bit therapeutic or clinically sound, but we're going to also bring it to so that everybody really understands. But so why you and I, when we're talking about two systemic therapists coming together to do this, right? We talked about the power and the influence that causes, right? But when we talk about systemic, right? Let's break it down to what that sort of means, right? So I'll let you start with the whole lens of how does, and this is where we're going with this, right? How different, and not that we're better, but how different, how different it is, so within the umbrella of therapists, right? There is licensed clinical social workers, there is licensed clinical mental health counselors, and then there is licensed marriage and family therapists, right? Which is what we both are. And when we're referring to systemic thinking and systemic lens, it falls under the category of the licensed marriage and family therapist. Yes. So what would you consider to be the power of you and I as systemic therapists and systemic thinking brings forward?
Yeah, I mean, well, number one, we have different experiences.
Yes. Yes.
We are different. You grew up where'd you grow up?
I grew up, so I was born in Puerto Rico. I was raised in Fort Lauderdale. So Fort Lauderdale is really my hometown.
Yep.
Yes.
And every time I go to Fort Lauderdale, I think of you. FYI.
Oh, this is Ray's house, Ray's town, Ray's backyard.
But yeah, so you have that experience,
yes.
And I have my own clinical lens, and systemic lens of where I grew up, where I migrated to, how that affects me. And that is like the power of systemic. I don't just see Ray, right? I see all the people that you are attached to.
Yes.
And probably the people that you don't even know that you're attached to, the people that you've affected. People will, I like to say, oh yeah, I know Ray. I know him very well. I like to brag and say, because your name just rings very, like, people really respect you in the community. But that people that you probably don't even know they're talking about.
No, that's sometimes I hear about people like so and so knows you, and I don't even know who they are, but thank you.
But that's the power of systemic. Yeah.
It's how to reach and influence, right? Connections and influence communities and influence populations.
And we already are like connected, and so having the connection, but also having a different point of view is what will make this
very interesting.
And different.
Absolutely. when we're thinking of the context of everyone as a whole rather than at an individual lens or focus. Yeah, we talked about the representation therapy world, who we are, right? I think we as systemic thinkers, it's so valuable in the contribution that we do. Most of us obviously work with couples and families, where our other clinical fellows, LCMACs and LCSWs, mainly focus on individuals. Some of them do what we do, but that's another thing that we do is we can work with couples, work with families, right? I think I don't know in your if you recall the days of Pfeiffer or even now outside in your practice where what has been like the largest amount like from a family that you've had in a room doing therapy at one time?
Me, 6. I definitely
You beat me by one. Okay.
I definitely believe in the more people in the room, the better, because then I can get the whole view.
Yeah.
Like we miss things when we don't have representation. I'm real big on that.
I love that.
Like representation really matters, but
Yes.
it also gives us different points of views. That gives us the whole systemic view and not just one view. And I think that is the power that we're bringing. And also like the community view.
Yes.
Because I think in this, it's not just me and you that's so important. It is the fact that this is the community couch. This is the couch that we all sit on together. And we all do the work together because we cannot do it in a silo, in my opinion. I don't think that it's difficult to heal by yourself. Like I always say, like, come bring your partner because, it's hard to heal. It takes longer to heal by yourself. You can go faster together because then we can learn. Make mistakes, yes. And we'll make mistakes, yes.
Absolutely.
And that's okay. But we have to try.
Yeah.
Like, we have to be able to be vulnerable enough to say, let me put my foot in. Let me do that work. And I may make a mistake, but guess what? Every time I make a mistake, you catching me, like that day when I called you, I feel like you caught me.
Yeah.
And said, guess what? I'm still here. I could still, because I don't think I had talked to you for a little bit.
Yeah, no, that was
You were busy and stuff like that, of course. But I feel like you caught me, and it really gave me a new lease on life, And I think we need that. We need the community support.
Yes.
And so.
Well, that's how healing happens. When we come together as one, right? When we understand the power that there is behind a community rather than a single person, right? And how healing really happens within that spectrum, right? So I think that is our intention in this in the community couch segments that we want to do is we want to also bring healing through these connections that we're doing and these topics that we're going to be talking about. So that's kind of
these real conversations. This is just two friends talking.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
absolutely,
that's what it is.
Yeah.
And having that is just the real, the honesty, the authenticity. Really, what you're known for.
Yeah.
The authenticity.
Yeah.
And just keeping it real.
Yeah.
Because there's no other way to be.
Yeah. So I wonder, what do we expect, right? What can we expect each time that we come together and we expose the topic? What are some of the things that the listeners and the viewers are going to be expecting from us?
So again, real conversation. You will get us. You will get the real us. You will get, of course, the healing. We are going to talk about what matters to the community, not just what matters to just me, to just Ray, but to our community that we also live in.
Yeah, that we're part of.
That we are a part of. Yeah,
right.
We are part of the system as well.
Yeah, and these are going to be, we're going to be talking about, things that are therapeutic in nature, right? Like therapy itself. And, there's going to be segments where we can educate and bring some education to the community. there's going to be some real life experiences happening, just
Mm-hmm.
like we are being vulnerable right now and sharing some of our stuff and our stories. We haven't really exposed it completely out there.
You'll get to know us.
Yeah, and I remember your text message afterwards. She's like, after the the coffee shop, you're like, I feel like I got to know Ray more, right? And that hour and a half that we spent together, and how much we talked, and how much I shared in that moment, right? This is what we want to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want to share these kinds of experiences out there, right? Talk about community stories. When we're talking, you opened up earlier about what's happening in Minneapolis, right? What's happening in Los Angeles, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is happening in New York, in all of these places. And although these are states that are not so close to us, but how does that affect North Carolina? How does that affect Charlotte as
Mm-hmm.
a community, right? So talking about those stories, right? And I think it's important, right? Obviously, we're not in a therapy session, but there's someone to be some therapeutic stuff happening, right, along the way. So
You gotta use us in all ways.
yeah, and then there's another part which we have to really be on. There's gonna be a lot of honesty.
Yes.
One of the things that Shacoya and I agree when we started to do this is that we're gonna keep it real and vulnerable, right? Because I think it's important to be vulnerable. It's important to be real. So honesty and then transparency as well, right? That's sort of like what we wanted to create, this space that was authentic, open, honest. Yeah, we believe that is where we're guided by and where we're going. But there is no perfection.
No, it can't be. Not if I'm here.
Yeah.
It cannot be if I'm here. FYI, just make sure.
Yeah, no. Hey, listen. I think this is why we clicked very well, because we kind of knew that. Hey, yeah, I'm Ray and you're Shacoya, and we're not perfect, right? And that's okay.
Yeah, but we'll show up.
Well, we'll show up.
That's what
We'll show up. And and this is the thing about being a clinician and being a therapist, right? Is part of that ability to connect with your client. And I have found out, in my years of practice, gosh, we can say years of practice now. Hey.
Yes, we can.
In my years of practice as a clinician, I will say one of the things that I hear the most feedback from my clients, especially when I'm discharging, I always like to ask, like, hey, can you tell me some of the experiences, the good experiences and the not so good experiences? And one of the things that I heard most often from my clients was like, I just love how Ray is Ray, and like the Ray outside is the Ray in the room, right? And I meet them where they're at, but then they get to see who Ray is and they appreciate and love who Ray is. And that's when change happens, or begins at least, is when we are authentic, that we show up the way that we are, with our scars, with our hurt, the tears, the pain, but then we get to where they're at and change then happens.
It happens and it evolves, and it's a soft spot to land in.
Yes.
When I remember someone saying, you have to go into therapy as a therapist, you have to be a blank slate. And I was like, oof, that's not gonna work for me. Yeah. I was like, I don't know how to not be me.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna show. I don't have a choice, right? Yeah. I don't have a choice. When someone walks in the room, they know who they're gonna see. Shacoya. Yeah. They're gonna meet Shacoya, and so I don't have a choice but to be me. So I think that we want to make sure that is in this space as well, like that we are our individuality, our identity, who we are, who we even continue to aspire to be, because I don't think that journey stops. I think it's always ongoing. I'm striving to be a better me every day. And so hopefully I'll also, as we help the community evolve, we too evolve.
We grow together, right? I always remember, and Xavier, I always remember my friend, one of my best friends, Xavier, that he is moved to California and he's also a therapist. And I remember he always pushing the idea of be the best version of yourself, right? And this is exactly what we strive for, and not only as clinicians, but as human beings, right? Is what do I need to do to become the best version of myself, right? And I think that is very powerful. So the truth being offered, but of course, with compassion, love, and care.
Yeah.
So that's really important. So, yeah. What else do we say today?
I think we need to also ask our other co-hosts,
Yeah.
our community.
Yes.
What do you guys want to hear from us? How
Yes.
can we support our community? How do you guys also want to be involved? Because
Yes.
this is the community couch for a reason. This is, again, not just Ray and Shacoya. This is a space for our community to come together. And we want to hear from you. We want you to be a part of this space. If there's something that you know is going on in the community, we want you to just bring it to us.
Mm-hmm.
You want to come on? You want to talk with us? You want to be a part of this too? Like, bring it. We want to hear from you. We want you a part of this as well, because you are the reason why we're doing this.
Absolutely.
And we need you. We need you.
Yes. And, we have a lot of great plans coming up. We will be out in the community as well pretty soon. We have some great plans coming and great topics that we're going to begin with. And again, to what Shacoya just said, right? Write to us, email us, send us messages, let us know really what you want to hear. And we'll be glad to take those in considerations and actually put it out there, because I think you are the reason why we're doing this. The community is the reason why we're doing this. And I know that this is going to be very beneficial to all of us together. So thank you so much for being in this space, in this couch with us this evening. We appreciate you, we value you, we see you, and we hope to connect with you very soon.
Thank you to the community couch.
See you later.